Hey, Brian Post here. Super excited to be handling this Q&A series for the adoption community. And I'm actually all over the place because I got several questions. So I just did one on my phone. Now I'm going to do this one on Zoom and I'm going to record it and then we'll upload this and we're just going to see which one works the best and the most effectively. So I am going to jump over real quick and read this question for you all. And the adoption community is one of the fastest growing adoption support communities on the internet, a place for support, education, and community because adoptive parents need to have community because you are not alone. You are doing a fantastic job, even when it seems like you're not. You're doing a great job. And I want you to remember that. I want you to hold that near and dear to your heart. So this question comes from Ken. Ken says, how do we get past the feeling of being manipulated when we stop punishments and replace it with acceptance and caring? It can seem like our child is getting away with stuff without significant consequences. Oh, I love this question, Ken. I love good questions because questions, number one, give me an opportunity to really feel the heart of the parent. And when a parent asks a question like this, they're really thinking about it. And I love it when a parent is right in the middle of really twisted up about something because that tells me that you're really trying to learn and you're really trying to grow. And that is a key characteristic of the most successful parents that I work with. So let's jump on into this. So, how do we get past the feeling of being manipulated? Okay, let's move past the manipulation and move to the thought that your child is getting away with stuff without significant consequence. So here's what you have going on. You have two tracks going on in your brain. One, you have the track of my child's manipulating me. Two, you have the track of they're getting away with something without significant consequence. And you know where both of those tracks in your brain come from? Your ancestors. They come from your great grandparents, your grandparents, your mom and your dad. And before I take you all the way back, because we don't have that much time, I'm just going to ask you, how was any kind of punishment handled when you were a child? How'd your parents handle it? Because however your parents handled it, when you become stressed, because as soon as you believe that your child is manipulating you, now you're stressed. I'm going to say that again because it's really important. The amygdala only perceives threat. So if you have a framework in your brain that your child is manipulating you, then you're already threatened, which then activates the other pathway of, I can't let him get away with this. See, this is where the challenge is because you now the activated pathway is I can't let him get away with this because it doesn't feel like he's getting any kind of consequence. Like he's not getting any kind of punishment. You hear that? You hear that language? So then the struggle and the conflict is because you've been learning the fear to love method and the love-based approach, and you're like, okay, I'm going to let him get away with this, even though I feel like he's manipulating me, but how is he not getting punished? So then the vibration is actually not changing. And this is important. I could go so deep into this question. This is important because everything comes back down to vibration. If you're doing something, Ken, and I think you're manipulating me, I am already in an aroused state. I am in a threatened state. I am in a stressed state. So the vibration I am sending to you is already one of anxiety because I feel like you're manipulating me. Now I've learned that I want to be this love-based regulated parent. So now I'm trying to be regulated when I feel like you're manipulating me, I can't be. It's not authentic. I'm not authentically reflecting what I'm feeling. So then we jump to the fact that now after I let you get away with it, because see, I'm letting you get away with it because I feel like you're manipulating me, but I'm trying to do something different. That's like the difference between trauma informed and trauma responsive. That's why I say trauma informed is not enough because trauma informed is head knowledge. Trauma responsive is knowing how to respond instead of react in a situation. So the thing is, now you subtly want me to be punished because you're still stressed. See, you haven't had the paradigm shift. Now, here's the framework I need you to have. Number one, your child's not manipulating you. Your child is stressed and in survival. And in stress and survival, we all manipulate. In stress and survival and fear, we all do the best we can to survive. It has nothing to do with you. They're not trying to manipulate you. He's not trying to manipulate you. He's trying to survive because in that moment, whatever the experience is that's happening, he feels threatened. He feels overwhelmed. The worst thing that ever happened to him is threatening to happen again. That's important. I'm going to say that again. In times of extreme stress, and I just answered a question for Annalise, and I should have said this because this is very important for my lying, how to end lying formula. When there's extreme stress occurring for a child, that's stirring up their brainstem. And when that brainstem gets stirred up, the worst thing that has ever happened to them is threatening to happen again. So in that moment, when you think he's trying to manipulate you, you daggum right. He's trying to survive. So I need you to shift your paradigm. And instead of seeing a child trying to manipulate and take advantage of you, see a child who's trying to survive. See a child who's trying to stay alive. See a child who is fearing the worst thing that ever happened to them may happen again. See that. Now, whoa. Take a deep breath. Breathe into that. Okay, now here's where the harder conflict comes in. The harder conflict comes in because when you get stressed, you go back to your generational blueprints. Your generational blueprints have labeled discipline as punishment. Discipline is not punishment. The definition of discipline is to teach, not to punish. So here's the thing, and this is where we struggle so much. When I see my child is trying to manipulate me and see my child as a threat, when I can calm that down and I can see my child is scared and overwhelmed and trying to survive and not as trying to manipulate me, it changes how I respond. When I change how I respond, then I can do what I need. I can do what my child needs me to do. I can address the situation. And then I can wait even and I can come back and I say, hey, sweetheart, I love you. If you ever need something from dad, and I know it can be really scary because somewhere inside of you in your history, you didn't get your needs met. Somewhere in your experience, some adult did not show up for you when they needed to. And that makes me extremely sad. But I want to be different. And maybe I did that before. Maybe I didn't show up when you needed me to. I want to change that. So I need you to give me a chance. I need you to give me a chance when you really need something. I just need you to come and try to ask me. Take the risk and ask me. Do you understand? I love you so much. I will always do the best I can, and I can't always do it. And when I can, I'll tell you I can't do it, but we'll figure out some other solution. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Then they move on. Guess what you just shifted? Not only did you just turn off all those generational blueprints that says that kid needs a consequence, that kid needs a threat, because you turned off all those and you turned on the experience of love, and you turned on the experience of self-awareness, and you turned on the experience of shame. Ooh, that's a hard one. See, a child can feel shame. No one should be made to feel shame, but we should all be allowed to feel shame. So when you say to a child, hey, if you need something, you can come to me, that is in the most non-threatening way. And then the feeling of shame comes up and they're like, oh, I didn't approach dad the way I should have approached him. See, that's the internal teaching. See, when you start operating from consequences and punishment, all that's external. We don't want to grow our children up. Number one, we don't want to grow our children up being externally controlled. We want to grow our children, develop internal control. But number two, you can't develop regulation in a child through external control. That only creates dysregulation. So if you really want to grow your child up with regulation and internal control and internal awareness, then you've got to demonstrate that yourself first. See, that's the key, and that's where most people really mess up, because we're all the time, because of our generational conditioning, we're all the time wanting to blame and punish and being reactful and being stressful and being fearful, instead of slowing down, really seeking to understand where our children are coming from, and then operating from that perspective as opposed to just a reactive perspective. So I hope that has been helpful for you, Ken. Thank you so much for sending that in. I feel like that's a fantastic question, and I'd be happy to go into that deeper at another time. But for now, let's call this a wrap.